Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to my 2022 banner pull guide for Princess Connect Global. Now, as I'm sure most of you are probably already aware that this year is absolutely stacked, full of characters. It's going to be a very busy year, so resource management and knowing who you want to pull and planning ahead is going to be absolutely vital going into this year. With that in mind, what we're going to attempt to do today is we're going to take a look into all of the new banners. We're going to talk a little bit about their kit, and then on top of that, we're also going to rank them in terms of both clan battle and PvE performance, kind of here on the left. And then on the right, we're also going to rank them in terms of their arena performance. Now, this is something I like to do just because I'm not like a huge hardcore clan battler, nor am I like a die-hard arena player. I'm more of an all-round type of player, but I definitely am a bit of a min-maxer, and I do like to optimize my characters to the best of my ability. So having something like this just gives me a direct comparison where I can just kind of look at it and get a good idea of who I want to pull. With that said, there are two things quickly I want to mention going into this year. The first thing is basically right now we are in a very physical dominant meta in terms of both clan battle and arena. Clan battlers are pretty much expected to be running 2, if not 3 physical teams for the next couple clan battles. Arena players, it's kind of the same. There's just a very strong, dominant physical team set up right now. That is not going to be the case. We are going to be slowly transitioning into a more magic meta, and you can expect pretty much by the end of summer that it's basically going to flip and it's going to be mage dominant pretty much going forward. So just something to consider, because this year also has a lot of very good mage characters and a lot of mage support characters. So just something you want to think about if you're trying to decide on who you want to pull. There is going to be this inevitable flip, and we're going to be in a very mage dominant meta. And that's both clan battle and arena. The other thing worth mentioning is up until this point, pretty much all the other versions of characters that have been released, so like your summer characters, your Halloween characters, your Christmas characters, those have always been limited banners. That's not going to be the case moving forward. Some of these other versions of characters will be going into the normal loot pool. That's important to know because pretty much from this point moving forward this year, limited characters are going to have a little bit more of a higher priority just because that some of them are going to be going into the actual loot pool. So just wanted to quickly mention that. It's important to know moving forward. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and just jump in. We've got a lot to talk about, so we're just going to try and skim through this the best we can. First character up is Muimi. We've got about maybe a week left of her banner. If you have got her, you already know how busted she is. If you do not have her, hold strong. Hopefully you'll get her. If you don't get her with the free pulls, then start spending jewels. But she is an absolute must-have across the board. She is a fantastic character. She does just absurd amount of damage, and she sees play everywhere. Her kit's kind of interesting too, in the sense that she kind of has little sword mode and big sword mode is the way I like to think of it. Her little sword mode is like a normal character where she just has her first ability is like a knockback and a stun, and her second ability is a defense shred. But when she uses her Union Burst, she does one big hit and then she pulls out Big Sword. And basically, rather than her TP being completely consumed, it just slowly starts to drain. And as long as she has Big Sword out and her TP is draining, she just goes into a different loop pattern where she does one huge hit followed by one huge cleave. And she just rotates these abilities. They hit like Union Bursts in themselves. So after she casts her Union Burst and goes into Big Sword mode, she just starts cleaving mayhem, and she's disgusting. Hence why she's pretty much a must-pull all around the board. In terms of clan battle performance, she is pretty much going to be an SS character. She is fantastic. And honestly, in arena, she's also going to be a very, very strong unit. She's just going to absolutely clear through stall units. So S, maybe an A+, but for now, I would say she's more of an S unit. Moving on, we have Kasumi. Kasumi's actually kind of a tough one. She's good in both aspects of the game, but if you want to optimize her, she kind of falls in the same boat as Ruka that we've had previously, in the sense that if you want to optimize her for arena, you take her to 5 stars like you would with most arena characters. However, if you want to optimize her for clan battle, you typically would keep her at 3, possibly 4. So she's another one of those characters where you have to choose where you want to use her, which is a bit of a bummer. But she's very good in both. So if you take her for arena, she's not like an absurdly broken character in the sense that you can just kind of throw her in, fire and forget. She does a very specific thing, but that specific thing that she does is just insanely strong. In terms of clan battle, however, she's not really going to see much use pretty much until like way far in the future, until like pretty much the end of this year. So for clan battle purposes, she's kind of an easy skip for now. However, if you are arena, you might really want to consider picking her up. I'm not going to go into too much detail with her because honestly, she kind of warrants her own video in what she does in arena. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to keep it short and sweet. She's basically a huge disabler and also like a magic debuffer. In terms of clan battle, she's probably more of an A+ type of character, but not until like way later. She's just going to get better. In terms of arena, however, she's going to be definitely up here pretty much alongside Muimi in what she actually does. Keep in mind, she's just going to get better as we start to transition into a more magic meta. Next character up, we have Ayumi. She is typically she's flat out an all arena character. She won't see any play outside of arena. She is a midline disruptor, essentially. She pretty much does it all in a sense. She debuffs physical attack. She has a huge stun across the board, so she pretty much stuns the entire team. Her Union Burst does a blind and a confuse. She's just a huge disruptor. She is a 1-star on release, so she is a very, very heavy cost. You have to spend a lot of DAs to take her to 5-star for arena, which is kind of a bummer. But she is actually a very good arena character. So in terms of clan battle PvE, like I said, not going to see any play. She's more of maybe sort of maybe A+ in terms of what she does, but she is such a heavy investment that she's kind of an easy skip for now. But for those of you who really want to invest in her, she's probably mid-tier, maybe A+. Not much else really to say about her. Moving on, we have Anne. Now, Anne is kind of like the first wave of incredibly good mages we're going to have. She is basically Kyouka in terms of damage, however, she also provides support to other mages. She gives a little bit of action speed, and she also provides a decent amount of magic attack buff to allies. So she's a Kyouka who buffs. So she's fantastic across the board. She's not limited. She is going into the actual loot pool, so you could skip her for now. I would suggest if you are a hardcore clan battler or you want to become very competitive in clan battle, she's probably a must at this point just because of how powerful she is. Outside of that, she can definitely be skipped and then just kind of hope that you maybe pick her up further down the line. Not really much else to say about her. In terms of damage in clan battle and whatnot though, she is going to be probably more of an S-, maybe an A+, say a little bit better. In terms of arena though, you kind of have to consider how much do you really use Kyouka in arena. She's definitely going to fall a little bit short on the arena side of things. She is good, but doesn't really have a huge place in arena right now. But she is fantastic in clan battle and PvE. Moving forward, we have Lou. Lou, I believe, is a welfare unit. And also just not really worth it. She kind of has an interesting skill setup in the sense that she kind of summons these little things and they kind of can soak some damage, and she does more damage the more she has out. Unfortunately, she just kind of falls short and doesn't really see play anywhere across the board. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a cool concept, but she just doesn't. There's just other better characters. There really is. So kind of an easy skip, in my opinion. She's not very good in PvE wise, and she's really not very good in arena either. After her, we have Grea. Grea is known as sort of the safe Ilya in the sense that she is also a midline mage. She does somewhat similar abilities to Ilya in the sense that her Union Burst is a big AoE attack. She does have a very cool ability where she pretty much does like a charge forward and becomes invulnerable, which is pretty neat. But she's Ilya in the sense that she does the same thing minus the actual taking damage part. so she's much safer. She does actually very good magic damage for a midline character, and that's pretty much it. She's basically Ilya without the self damage. Not much else to say. Very good, but nothing like game breaking or changing or anything. So in terms of damage for clan battle and whatnot, I mean, if you already have Ilya, it doesn't really matter all that much. So she's maybe more of a B plus, A minus. Same thing kind of goes. I mean, a safer Ilya in arena, is actually very tempting, and the invulnerability can actually cheese some stuff, which is quite nice. So she's definitely kind of like a midline. She's not bad, but she's also not like crazy good, but she is good. Moving on, we have our first Prefest character, which is going to come in Kuuka. Kuuka is basically just kind of a better version of what she already does. She's still a magic tank, but this time, instead of the taunt, which she loses, unfortunately, she actually buffs mages. So she's sort of a mage support / tank. So she's, like I said, she's still a magic tank. However, her first ability is she just buffs magic attack. Great. And then she also has a little bit of a defense or magic defense shred. Her Union Burst is just a much bigger self-heal as opposed to what she had, and then a small magic and physical defense to all allies. So she's a tank who also buffs your mages. Very cool. In those certain situations where you do need a tank and you're running a mage team, she is the obvious choice. However, in terms of like clan battle, you don't really want to use tanks, but when you do, she's going to be pretty good. I wouldn't rank her too high. Probably more around here, just because of the realistic use for her. But when you do need her, she is good. Same thing kind of goes for Arena. She's a little bit better in Arena, in my opinion, just because of, even though she loses the taunt, which is one of her big, strong skills right now, the fact that she just buffs your mages if you're running a mage team is very good. So kind of a midline character, but a very nice to have character. But by no means is she a necessity. She's also not limited. She's going into the loot pool, which kind of takes her down a little bit in my opinion. But moving on, we have Ninon. Ninon is basically the single target version of the current Ninon. She gives up all of her AoE for single target. She's a very good damage dealer, but she is in the same boat as New Year Hiyori, in the sense that on release, she's not that strong, but in a year's time, when we get more support for her and when her unique equipment comes out, she becomes incredibly strong. So for now, I would recommend just passing on her, but make sure you pick her up next year. She's also not limited. She is going into the loot pool, so you could pick her up later, which is fantastic. But in the same boat as New Year Hiyori, like wait until her unique equipment comes out and we have some crit support, because she's very crit reliant. If she crits on her Union Burst, it does triple damage. So once we start getting crit characters and her unique equipment comes out, she's very good, but on release, not so much. So further down the line, she's probably going to be maybe, I would say more of an A plus, possibly, in terms of like clan battle and whatnot, but honestly, in Arena, she just kind of falls short. It's a cool kit, but having to rely on crits is never always a great thing in Arena, so kind of falls short a little bit there. Moving on, we have Rem, which is the first collab character. Strictly an Arena character, yet again, but kind of an interesting one, and she kind of has a fun mechanic in the sense that she is sort of a disruptor / support, in the sense that she has a freeze skill and then she also has like a healing skill. But the cool thing about her is the fact that her Union Burst does significantly more damage to any characters under the effect of basically a cannot take action. So a stun, her own freeze effect, or a bind, or any of those, she does considerably more damage. So very interesting mechanic. It's kind of hard to work around realistically, but it's definitely going to be fun. If you can get it to work, she's quite good in Arena, but outside of Arena, she doesn't really see any play. So in terms of clan battle and whatnot, just not going to be used. And I would say she's probably more of an A unit, just because it's very specific, but if you can get it to work, it's actually quite good. She's just not super versatile. Same thing goes for the next character, which is going to be Ram. Literally the same description as Rem in the sense that she pretty much does the same thing, but she's more of a magic version. She's going to provide the occasional blind. She's also going to be doing damage and a knockback, and it's increased if they're under the effect of this cannot take action thing. So realistically, you kind of want to throw these two into a team where you're just going to be throwing out stuns and blinds and freezes left and right to try and really take advantage of the additional damage they can deal. So kind of fun, nothing crazy. She's going to be in the same boat as Ram here. So not much else really to say about those two, but they are going to be fun to use. Moving on, we have Emilia. Emilia definitely kind of falls short. She's kind of an interesting one, as she's kind of like this. She wants to be a mage, but then she also wants to be a support. Her damage actually is not bad, but her union burst is just like a support union burst realistically, and then her skills are just damage. And it's one of those situations where, realistically speaking, if you want to use someone for damage, you would just use a mage that did considerably more damage. But if you felt like you needed a support, you would probably just run a support. She's kind of in this weird in between where she doesn't excel at either, but she does okay at both. Not very high priority. She really doesn't see play, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. Just because she just doesn't really kind of like live up. So she's kind of low tier in both, which is unfortunate, but it's just kind of how it is. Now we move into the actual first summer character, and this is Summer Suzuna. She is in the exact same boat as New Year Hiyori and Ninon, in my opinion, in the sense that on release, she's a good character, don't get me wrong, but she's really not going to shine until a year later when her unique equipment comes out. She's basically a better version of herself in the sense that she does a very similar thing, except for she just is a little slower up front, but then she just starts dealing tons of damage. Not really much else to say. She is a limited character, so depending on how many jewels you have at this point, you could pick her up if you wanted to play safe. I would recommend pushing it off until next year when her unique equipment comes out, just because of how busy this year is with characters. But she is a very good character. She's just becomes way better in a year's time with her unique equipment. In terms of damage, though, she's definitely going to be more of an A+, maybe S. I would say maybe an S- character in a year's time. Up front, not so much, but it definitely worth considering. But because of the slow uptime for her in Arena, it's a little bit lower. She just kind of gets outclassed later on in Arena. But yeah, moving on, we have SIO, or Summer IO. She is now in the forms of a support. She's actually a very cool character. She's a welfare unit, so you don't have to worry about actually pulling her. Just make sure you take her to at least 3 stars. For any World of Warcraft fans out there, she is basically a disc priest, meaning she heals through dealing damage. And it's actually, she doesn't deal terrible damage, and she also does decent healing. She is the nice in between. She's kind of what I imagine Emilia should have been, in my opinion. A cool character. She's not going to be like crazy good, but like definitely a nice to have. Like I said, she's a free character, so what can you say? She's definitely going to be more B tier in terms of both, though. Maybe a little bit stronger, depending on certain uses where you feel like you just want that extra bit of damage, but you need that survivability. She could fit, but other than that, decent unit, and she's free. Moving on, we have Summer Makoto. Summer Makoto is an interesting one because she has a specific mechanic in the sense that if there is only ever one target, so she's going to be used in like boss fights primarily, so like clan battle and event bosses and whatnot. She is a Makoto on absolute steroids. If there is only ever one target, she just does absurd amounts of damage. I mean, like Eriko damage. And she also provides an insane amount of defense shred. But that's kind of where she lands. You either use her in a single target encounter or you do not use her at all, pretty much. So in clan battle or event bosses and whatnot, she is completely absurdly broken. But outside of that, she sees no use. So for clan battlers, she is pretty much a must-have at this point. But outside of that, like I said, you're not going to use her. But she is a Makoto on steroids when there is just one target. So obviously, in terms of clan battle, she is just crazy, crazy good. And in terms of arena, you're just not going to use her at all. And I actually think I skipped. Yeah, sorry. Summer Saren is actually before Makoto. My bad there. Summer Saren is the second absolute must-have of the year after Muimi. She's completely broken. There's like, I don't even know what to say. She just does it all. She gives the entire party a massive TP boost right at the start of the battle, which is broken in every aspect of the game. She provides attack crit, physical crit, magic attack crit. Like, she provides even more attack and action speed. She just buffs like crazy, and it's her true power comes from just giving everybody a huge amount of TP at the start of the fight. That's broken in clan battle, that's broken in arena. It's just too good. Really isn't anything else to say. She is an SS character across the board. She is completely and utterly busted. Okay, moving on, we actually have Summer Kaori, and she is also going to be an event character, so she's free. You just need to invest in her. She is the AoE/cleave version of herself. She is a very good character, but in terms of now, she just deals tons and tons of AoE damage. She becomes stronger later on when clan battle starts to having more than one target, and just kind of like other uses where you need to cleave. She's fantastic. She's also very, very good in arena because AoE is kind of king in arena. Great all-around unit to have. Absolutely great. Clan battle, I would probably say A, maybe A+, depending on the usage. Arena, she's actually a little bit better. I would arguably say she's kind of closer to an S character. That might be a little bit ambitious, but she does a ton of damage if you are trying to go for some kind of like physical heavy cleave team. Maybe more of an A+, S- kind of, but let's just put her there for now. And then after her, we move into the final summer character, which is Summer Maho. Summer Maho now comes in the form of a very, very strong mage. She's a little interesting in the fact that her abilities hit random targets, but for clan battle, that doesn't really matter because it's all just going to be going to the same target. Very, very, very high damage mage. Fantastic one to have. She is limited though, so I would highly recommend pulling for her if you are at least somewhat clan battle oriented. In arena, not so much, just because of the RNG aspect to it. You know, sometimes it's a payoff, but realistically speaking, you don't really want to be relying on RNG in arena. But for clan battle, she is absolutely fantastic and definitely is an S character there. She's definitely strong, but again, the RNG aspect drops her down in arena, so I think she's more kind of a B. Highly recommend pulling on her though if you can at this point. But keep in mind the next character after her is Neneka, and Neneka is the third absolute must-have, no questions asked, completely broken character. She does it all, and she does it all very well. She has one ability where she just deals moderate damage to everybody and inflicts a stun. That's great across the board. She has a huge magic defense shred, but her Union Burst summons a clone of herself, which has the same stats and attack patterns of herself. She also creates a TP gain rate and magic attack field, so anybody standing in the field around her also gets this effect, and she basically just keeps summoning clones of herself. And she becomes absurdly busted because each of her clones is also dealing stuns and doing magic defense shred. She's broken. Like, I don't even know where to begin with her. She's that stinking good. Absolute must-have across the board, no questions asked. She is SS tier in clan battle and any PvE situation, and honestly, she is probably close to SS tier in arena as well, if not definitely an S+. But for the sake of this, I honestly think she's just that good. After her, though, we have TS Aoi. TS Aoi is typically referred to as the ranged Makoto. She's good, but she's not anything like crazy. I mean, think about how often you already use Makoto, and we're also going to get Summer Makoto. She is definitely going to be a clan battle oriented character. In terms of arena, not really so much. If you are heavily invested in clan battle, I would say she is definitely high on the priority list. But other than that, like, that's really all there is to say. She's just a ranged Makoto. So how good is Makoto in clan battle? Fantastic. I would still rank her more A, maybe A plus, just because of the mage meta. But outside of that, I think she would be higher, but it's just going to be so mage dominant for so long. And arena, just not really any play there. So if you are competitive in clan battle, she is definitely higher on the list. Otherwise, she's a skip in my opinion. After her, we have Chloe. Chloe is just not that good, unfortunately. She has an interesting mechanic where she basically like stacks these like Kyaru stacks essentially. She's a snowball character, meaning like she just gets better the longer the fight goes on. Unfortunately, it's just a little on the slow side, and she's just outclassed and outshined by other characters. That's just pretty much sums it up. She just kind of falls short. She's not good in clan battle, and she's rude, and you never want a snowball character in arena realistically, so yeah, she's kind of an easy skip, unfortunately. Now we have Halloween Kyouka. Now Halloween Kyouka basically trades in all of her crazy damage for crazy magic support. She is probably the best magic support, air quotations, that we'll have, just because of she provides so much magic attack, and she has kind of like a specific magic attack buff in the sense that she will always target the target with the highest magic attack. So first skill right here is decreases magic defense, so she has a magic shred. Oh, sorry, this is her union burst. Magic attack by a medium amount to the ally with the highest magic attack, and it's increased proportion to the current magic attack. Magic attack to everybody, union burst, defense shred, and even more magic attack. She just buffs magic attack left and right. Fantastic character, insanely good. Yeah, she is limited as well, so definitely high on the priority list. In my opinion, she's kind of a must-have across the board. She is definitely going to be S tier for sure in terms of clan battle and PvE. Not so high in arena, but she's definitely going to be seeing some plays, because if you are running a mage, having someone like that as a support is absolutely fantastic. So incredibly good character, very high on the priority list if you want to be competitive, and that pretty much wraps her up. Next we have Halloween Misogi, who is a welfare unit. She kind of falls in the same boat as normal Misogi, where she just doesn't really see play. She's just not that good. Does the same kind of stuff where she's just kind of like throwing out bombs. Unfortunately, it just kind of falls short. Again, she just hasn't really found her place yet, but she is free, so you know, you can invest in her as you see, but she just kind of falls short across the board again. Clan battle and PvE, not really used. Arena, I've seen some use and she's okay. I think maybe a B minus, but again, not really used all that much. After her, we have Halloween Mimi. Halloween Mimi is not a limited character. She is another one of these other versions who's going into the normal loot pool, which takes her down a little bit in my opinion. She is now sort of in line with Summer Kaori in the sense that she is a massive cleave and AoE damage dealer, and she does it very well. Really not much else to say. She's a very good cleave AoE damage character, but definitely by no means an absolute must-have. Just a very nice to have, but the fact that she's not limited, I think, kind of takes her down a peg or two as well. But she's definitely going to be sort of along here in terms of AoE characters for there. In arena, she definitely drops a little bit though, because she does have a trade-off in the sense that when she buffs magic attack, she also decreases the defense of the party by an ever so small amount, which doesn't really matter too much in clan battle, but in an arena setting, you really don't want to be debuffing yourself. So she definitely falls off a little bit there. Not quite as good as Summer Kaori in arena. Moving on, we move into Luna. Luna is a very hard decision because she is insanely good across the board, because she is one of the best single target TP boosters in the game, and she also does pretty good damage. She is a mage, fantastic across the board, but not a limited character. But in this sense, she is one of those characters where even though she is going into the pool, she is highly recommended to get, just because of how good she is and how versatile she is. She's honestly one of the best characters Some people argue that it's a little random with her kit, but honestly, I think she's definitely high tier. In terms of clan battle, I would arguably say she is sort of S plus, if not double S, just because of what she does. And the exact same thing goes for arena. S plus, maybe SS. Like, she's very strong character, incredibly powerful, but she's not limited, so you kind of have to just decide what you want to do here. I would highly recommend pulling her though, in my opinion. Moving on, we have Kaya. Very cool character, kind of an interesting kit, but she's just another one of these characters who just sadly gets outclassed. She has a cool ability in the sense that her Union Burst, the very first Union Burst she deals of the fight, is just bonkers damage, but then after that, it's all of them after that pretty much deal like a third of the damage. So she's kind of interesting in the sense that you think, okay, well, I'll just use her to just deal insane amounts of damage up front. Sounds good, not really as good in practice. Not really much else to say. She's just one of those kind of like nice to haves, but nothing crazy. I've seen some decent use in like clan battle and PvE content, but not too much. Same thing goes for Arena. She just kind of falls short a little bit. After Kaya, we have Christmas Christina. Christmas Christina is not bad. She kind of is another one of these characters that has kind of like a cool skill set, in the sense that she kind of has this like, think of her as Muimi with like little sword, big sword, except for in this case, her Union Burst and her skills depend on whether or not she's holding a coin. So at the start of the fight, she's not holding a coin. So her skill 1 and skill 2 deal X, and then her Union Burst deals X. And then once she does her Union Burst, she gains a coin, and now her skill sets deal Y. So they're just slightly modified whether or not she has a coin or not. When she does her second Union Burst, she consumes the coin and goes back to not having a coin. So it's kind of an interesting concept. It's kind of cool. It works pretty well. She's actually quite good. In terms of clan battle, keep in mind she's primarily higher on the priority list because one, I believe she is a limited character. Yes, she is limited. And on top of that, she also is going to have bond levels with normal Christina, which is what you pretty much always want with these characters. More of an A, maybe A plus character in terms of clan battle and whatnot, but because of the skill set in Arena, she just really just doesn't kind of cut it. Kind of high on the priority list when it comes to pulling because of multiple reasons, but otherwise, yeah, she's going to be... this is really going to depend on your jewels at this point. After that, we have Christmas Nozomi, who is a welfare unit. She is just not good, sadly. She kind of does a bunch of different things that all sound kind of cool, but she's kind of a little bit of a mosh posh character. Like, it just doesn't really fit well altogether, and there isn't really space for her. Realistically, she has like a freeze. She's a midline character and then protects characters behind her, so she only protects the back line, and even then she kind of falls short. Just not very good. She really isn't. She doesn't see play pretty much anywhere, but she's a welfare character, so. Moving on, we have Christmas Ilya. Not really much to say about Christmas Ilya. She's basically the same as her normal version, just wearing a winter jacket. That's pretty much how she goes. She's good. She's obviously bond levels for normal Ilya. I believe she is there. You go. She is not a limited character, so she will be going into the normal loot pool, which takes her down a peg. Not really much else to say. She's basically Ilya dressed up for winter. So if you get her, she's fantastic. I mean, she's going to be the same as normal Ilya. I'd say she's more of an A-, B+, though. Same thing kind of goes for clan or for Arena. Like, nothing special, but like still kind of a good to have if you get her. Next, we move on to New Year Carol, and New Year Carol is the absolute final must-have of the year. No question about it. Absurdly busted. She kind of goes into this pattern of just completely just... She buffs herself and just does more damage, and she just completely snowballs just beyond what you can imagine. She does absurd amounts of damage. Her skill set is she deals magic damage to the foremost enemy. Her next one is magic attack to all allies. and then casts a physical barrier. The potency of the barrier depends on her magic attack. Her Union Burst does huge damage and then grants magic attack to herself, and the buff's potency increases based on how much damage is dealt. And this lasts for 18 seconds. So basically, if you can get her to deal another Union Burst within those 18 seconds, it's going to be even bigger, which means she's going to get an even bigger magic attack, and that is just going to just infinitely scale, essentially, and she's just going to become completely busted. Yeah, she's broken across the board. Definitely PvE and clan battle oriented, though, but just she's so powerful that she's an absolute must-have, like no question about it. Arena, not as good. Obviously, like I said, snowball characters aren't great, but you could definitely do something with her, providing you can keep her alive long enough, and eventually she'll destroy everyone, but very specific use in Arena. Then we have Suzume. Not a bad support, but honestly, another one of these ones that's just her skills and her Union Burst all sound really good. It's just one of those situations where there just isn't really much of a use for all of it at once, if that makes sense. Not really seen. I mean, a Union Burst that gives HP recover and action speed is always great, but she also kind of has like a knockback to the furthermost enemy, which, you know, sounds kind of arena focused, and then a small magic barrier to all allies. So they all sound good, but she just kind of falls short, and there isn't really a place for her, unfortunately. So she's kind of bottom tier for both here, but she is a welfare unit, so she's free. And then finally we have New Year Kokkoro. New Year Kokkoro comes in the form of a tank now. Arguably one of the best tanks, in my opinion. She is kind of the physical version of Kuuka, but she does just so much more and so much better. She is a physical tank who also buffs physical parties. So hence Kuuka buffs magic parties. New Year Kokkoro is going to buff physical parties, but way better, in my opinion. First ability is a taunt, and she puts a damage absorb barrier on herself. That alone is fantastic. Second ability is she grants a physical attack, a physical crit, and a physical crit damage buff to the target with the highest physical attack. So she also increases the physical crit damage, which is the first that we've ever seen. Insanely good across the board. And then her Union Burst on top of that is a self-heal and HP regenerate effect to the entire group, and even more physical attack. So she just does it so much better. She is a fantastic unit to have. In situations where you definitely need a tank again, she's going to be very, very good. She's not necessarily an absolute must-have, but she is a very, very nice to have. And honestly, when you do need her, just because of what she brings, she's very good, and I would say probably an S tier in clan battles. Same thing goes for arena, in my opinion. When you have a tank like that, who also brings all of that to the table, just fantastic all the way around. All right, and there you have it. Some closing thoughts. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very busy year. We've got a lot of characters, we've got a lot of must-haves, and we've got a lot of super nice-to-haves. Just take advantage of every free pull we possibly come across. Save your jewels. Do not give in to temptation, even if some of these other characters are going to seem really cool. If there's one thing really to take from this video, though, and just one thing alone, there are 4 absolute must-have characters this year, and Muimi being one of them, the next one being Summer Saren, Neneka, and then New Year Carol. If by the end of this year you have those 4 characters, you're honestly fine. So if you're on a budget, or if you're completely free to play, aim for those 4 characters. Any you pick up in between are going to be a bonus. Luckily, we're going to have a lot more characters who aren't going to be limited. It's pretty much going to come down to like 1 Halloween character, 1 Christmas character, and then the summer characters. As we can see here, between Muimi and Summer Saren, which is the next absolute must-have, we have a long time to start saving. There's not realistically any must-haves in between here, depending on whether or not you're like super into arena or clan battle, or collaboration, obviously. So yeah, save everything you can. Summer is definitely going to be the hardest part, because we have some back-to-back characters who are all fantastic. We're only going to have a month in between Summer Saren and Neneka, so keep that in mind as well when you're saving for Summer Saren. You might want to pull some extra for Neneka. And then we do have a couple characters after Neneka, in between Neneka and New Year Carol, that are also kind of must-haves. Halloween Kyouka being limited, Luna just being insanely powerful. Yeah. But yeah, we're just going to leave it there for now. I will put all this in the description below if you're curious to take a look at what I put together here. This is kind of the path I'm going to be looking at least. I'm torn on Kasumi and like Luna for right now. But as far as the rest go, I'm kind of considering them must-haves. But this is all going to depend on Jules. I'll also put the tier list makers in the description as well for anyone interested. But yeah, let's just cut it there. Been a long video. If there's anything you think I missed, or if there's anything you want me to go deeper into, leave a comment. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next one.